I convinced my friend to join me on a 10-hour day of meditation known as the Zazen Kai.
Question number one.
Okay.
Have you ever meditated for longer than 30 minutes before?
No.
Have you ever meditated with your eyes open?
No.
Have you ever been to a Zen temple?
No.
Have you ever...
No.
Meditation of this length is a huge leap for a beginner, as it really was for me. But in Buddhism, the beginner's mind has been referred to as the Zen mind. Naturally, we all possess something that can make our minds perfect for meditation just the way we are. Before the Zazen Kai, I gave Patrick one single piece of advice, and it's what this entire episode is about. How it can forever change your meditation practice, and also your state of mind.
It's just my wild side. It's just the state of mind. It's just my wild side.
Nothing has fascinated me more than what this episode is about. I realized this concept over 6 months ago during my first Zazen Kai. But before getting into that, let's define the most important term that this episode is about: the beginner's mind. The beginner's mind isn't just limited to meditation. It's a state of mind driven by openness. When I was riding a motorcycle for the first time, I had no idea what I was doing. I saw myself as a beginner, so I would experiment with how to lean, how to push, how to turn. I was open to any possibility. Likewise, in the last episode, I showed what working as a CGI artist for the first time in my life looked like. I had no idea what I was doing, so I was constantly trying new things, watching new tutorials, and being open to really anything that arose. I define the beginner's mind as not being able to propose a goal because you don't even know enough about what you're doing to be able to have something that you want to achieve.
I'm not trying to be pretentious or anything, but I actually didn't really have any expectations because I didn't know what to expect.
This is amazing. If you have no goal, then how can you succeed? How can you fail? Your attention would go immediately into the process. The beginner's mind might sound like it's always the case if you're doing something new, but it's not. Sometimes we generate motives or goals based off of assumptions. I assume that if I'm going to spend my whole day here, that I should at least have a good time. I assume that if an experience is frustrating or boring, then there's no point in engaging in that experience. These feel different, but they're really the exact same as goals. They supply you with a win-fail rubric. It doesn't even matter how much of a beginner someone is. Some people will just never experience the benefits you get from the beginner's mind because they're too certain in their experience to ever lead to openness. Patrick, however, is not one of those people. He's probably the most open person I know, and for that reason alone, just openness, he has what I think is the perfect mind for meditation. So Zazen Kai here begins at 5 a.m. and ends at 5 p.m. Aside from breakfast and lunch, the rest of the day is in Zazen meditation. In total, over 10 hours of sitting upright in open-eyed meditation, staring at a white wall. What I told Patrick at 4:30 in the morning as we were driving to the temple was this: focus on learning, nothing else. 5 words, that was all I said. How do you teach someone to meditate for 10 hours? You simply give them the space to do it themselves.
So you sit down to meditate for the first time after never meditating for more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, I got maybe like 5, maybe 10 minutes of actual good meditation in the first session. I was surprised when we started to eat breakfast. I was like, damn, it's been 3 hours already? Instead of trying to be like in a meditative state, I was just like trying to be present. My whole like frame of meditation shifted. Like normally I'm like really into it and like super zoned in, and it's like I'm like removing myself from my sense of self, shit like that. But this one, it was just about being present.
So if you had to describe the theme of this channel, what would you say? My hope is that what I convey here is an excitement to learn through the expansion of our state of mind. Well, recently I found out about a startup called Learn Arena. They're a really cool company who recognizes the power of online learning, and they're also the first ever sponsor of this channel. Their mission is really cool. They're a learning platform where you actually compete with friends and people in your classes. And if you place in the top 15%, you can actually make a profit on the course you're taking. So if you sign up for one of their courses on like data science or programming or even philosophy, you then have an opportunity to get even more than your money back. And as of this week, their first set of courses have been released. Soon they'll have ones ranging from music theory to quantum mechanics to theology. I'm honestly super excited to see their company grow. If you're interested, a link to their website and their courses is in the description to learn more. If you're looking to learn online, I would recommend them to absolutely anyone. I had realized that through my experience, meditation is fundamentally driven by your openness to learn. So go learn, go figure it out for yourself. I'm not qualified to talk about the intricacies of, Zen and Zazen, but I could give my friend the advice that helped me the most. Go learn.
Yeah, and you know how like when we were kids and they'd be like, meditate is just not thinking about anything. That's kind of what I was trying to do. But then when we came back in the third one, I was like, all right, I've kind of like dilly-dallied around. Like I gotta, so I'm gonna just use the shit that worked for me and just full send it. Like who gives a fuck about like how it turns out? I mean, well that's because I was talking to the monk, and she was like, just fucking full send it, just go for it.
So after 9 hours of meditating,
I decided to kick it into gear. It took me that long to like actually learn how to like get the most out of it. Instead of like focusing on one thing, I would expand till I was like conscious and like perceptive of the whole room. I wasn't like thinking, I was like just present, and that was what worked for me. And like I was doing that shit for like almost that entire 3-hour session. Obviously my mind would wander every once in a while, but
yeah, but it's almost like it's not even a full thought if you don't bring your attention to it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a way different meditation because it wasn't like I was super focused in this thing and like going out like kind of crazy body experiences. More like I was just like present, and I felt good about that. You're still grounded in reality, but it's like it's more real reality.
But now I meditate and it's like every time it's enjoyable.
Right.
And it makes my day better every time. Like that's crazy. And honestly, I feel like meditation can get blurred because like meditation is just a verb.
Right.
And like any verb, like running or something,
Right.
if you just kept walking faster and faster, and we're like, when are you running?
Right.
When are you not?
Right.
It's like same thing with meditation.
Right.
Like, when does it become a meditation? It's like, well, it's just whatever your concept is.
Right. It's a state of mind.
The beginner's mind, the open mind, gives us the greatest potential for learning. And with that potential, anything is possible. Learning should always be like the focus.
Right. And I feel like when you're focused on like learning, it's less about like what's good or what's bad or whatever. And it's like, because I feel like you kind of need both experiences to actually learn something. Like if you're not focused on what's good or what's bad or whatever, it just kind of like takes the pressure off.